If you're a fan of the Battle Vault series on the channel, definitely check out the very first edition of the playmat, which you can get your very own copy right now on the AVAULT store. Also check out all the other awesome merch we got, and here's a special secret for you. Be sure to make an account right now to get an additional 5% off. Lastly, this wouldn't be happening if it weren't for all the support from you guys, so thank you all so much. Now, I know many of you guys are hyped for Zudomon in BT14, but I recently adopted a new dog, and its name is called MirageGaogamon. Alright, so for our matchup today, the first one, we're going to be playing against Fenrir Zudomon, which is also another dog type of deck with MirageGaogamon here. So I guess this battle of which dog is better, right? So when it comes to this matchup, it's really just all about who finds and sets up their pieces quicker than the other. So because both decks are very explosive, they're kind of like more OTK. So with my opening hand, I see a full line I can easily just Digivolve to, even going first. And I'm just going to go straight for that just because I do want to find my pieces as I grow my stack. I see my 3, my level 4, my level 5, not the most optimal stack, but still good enough. And I just want to sit at the back with AVAULT and just try to get in there as quickly as possible. Ideally for MirageGaogamon, the cards you really want to see are your searching cards such as Mental Training, Blue Memory Boost, and then you just want to rack them up and play your Thomases as well at the same time. So eventually you can just like pop off like crazy in one turn and go for like the optimal combo. But here we're still pretty okay. It's very important that we still need to build the stack to establish, that we're not behind. We have a bit of control as well. We're just going to move up as quickly as we can, swing with the AVAULT and go into the MirageGao here from the BT11. It's just really good because it bounces stuff. We gain memory back for it as well if our opponents adds cards to their hand too because of that. And we can really control the board, and establishing this early in this particular matchup is neat because whenever our opponent adds cards to their hand, we gain memory as well. Simply just like here, they play Miss Memory Boost, we immediately gain. And with AVAULT, which is a really good compensation for the restriction of MirageGaogamon, we're doing tons of damage because we can swing for 2 checks as long as we have 8 or more cards in our hand. And usually we are. We're a blue deck after all, so we have a lot of cards to cycle through, which is really good. And position is just perfect for us because now we just play a Thomas, set up for next turn. We can go into burst mode and just, they can just go, we can just go crazy and just finish the game so quickly just because from that. So here the opponent is really, sitting in a stickier situation. It's way tougher. They don't have a rookie to come out. And you guys can see, it's kind of like a race, whoever gets there first and whoever is able to whoever is not able to answer the opponent quickly right after, that's usually kind of how the matchup goes. It's a very fast game, really, usually. They do gain quite a bit of memory because they have like double AG. They even have the Miss Memory Boost that they can utilize. So they do have options to play as a Zudomon player too. But again, keep in mind, we do gain memory if they ever search. So they have to think very, very carefully when they're playing against us. The all turns effect of MirageGaogamon is just so good. Not even just in this matchup, like I said, it's also just really good and against all the other matchups in general. Searching is a key thing, drawing is a key thing in Digimon, and not being able to do that, and when it disrupts it, it's very good trade-off and good value for the player with MirageGaogamon, and it's a very bad trade-off for the opponent. So, here they just have to go up with Luga into their stack anyways. They know they have to establish blockers. They need blockers. That's why they also tuck in the AG, because it can give it blocker. Not just Alliance, the Fenrir Zudomon can also play defensively as well, other than being aggressive at the same time. Here they're just trying to cycle for more cards, and they just go for the Fenrir play, and they get to play a bunch of stuff, double black autos, and both the Fenrir itself and the Fasco are both blockers, but we're quite okay. We have quite a bit of memory to work with, thanks to having Thomas that sets us to 3 anyways, but they also give us extra memory, 1 extra memory because of they went going into Fenrir. We're just going to go into burst mode. We're going to pay the full cost for it, so we can bounce to their hand and we can just gain the memory back, and we're just going to go for attacks, swing, bottom deck their cards from their hand. It's really good too, a very powerful effect, because if you limit the opponent's resources, and we're still swinging for double checks because we have so much cards in our hand, and we get to check twice and finish the game just like that. So for this next game, we're going to be playing against Red Hybrid, which is also a very fast-paced type of deck that can match up against MirageGaogamon. So when it comes to this matchup, same game plan. It's really always the same with MirageGao. We're just trying to find pieces, digivolve our stack, and our hand looks pretty okay. We have 2 searching cards, we have Gomamon to work with to digivolve. Gomamon's a fantastic rookie for the deck too, because of its like source stripping effect and sort of like its floating capability with its inheritable. So things are looking pretty good, and we're also going second, so we have a lot of tools to work with here. We're just gonna thinking either to play Blue Memory Boost or Gaomon here. I feel like I want to find a Thomas as well at the same time and grab a Gaogamon related card, but well, there you go. That Gaomon just whiffed my entire search, ended up trashing everything that I have there, which is rather unfortunate. And okay, so we're gonna continue to search though. We still have to find pieces. Blue Memory Boost, I guess we could just grab the other Gaomon here. We do have the option to chip away at the opponent's security, but I felt like there's really no need to, just because we're playing against Red Hybrid. We don't want to give them any surprises when it comes to their security, such as Atomic Inferno or even just Tamers to work with, because it gives them a lot of value. So we're not chipping them away. I know we're gonna lose some of these bodies, but that's totally fine. There's no need to chip, because MirageGao, once we have that full combo line, we could just burst and go into it like crazy. Maybe chipping one, arguably, maybe chipping one security could be okay, but we're kind of stuck here, you guys can see. Really unfortunate. We're not seeing the level 4 we want to see. We end up just stripping their sources and have to hard play the Zudomon and bounce their Pokemon back, because again, they could just go really crazy explosive out of nowhere against us in the next turn, and we really need to do something about it, because if I'm not seeing the level 4, then I guess we'll have to hard play the 5 and go into a level 6 that way instead, to make sure that we're not losing any momentum and keep making sure that we're still in the game. Red Hybrid is really consistent, very fast and powerful with its pressure that I can apply, and our security is just going to get chunked away all of a sudden. And here we're basically in lethal range too for them if they have like full combos coming up. Always really explosive and surprises. And yeah, and they go into Emperor Grey here, taking out our Zudomon Ace, and with the overflow, they basically gain so much value off of it, and now just playing Boku back for free and continuing to search and find pieces, and we're back in a very bad situation all over again. We finally did find our level 4, but here in this matchup, or in this particular game example, what I'm trying to really show you guys is that MirageGao is great when it pops off, but there are times that you guys can see it's not really the best thing there, because you know, when you're slow down and you don't see your pieces against a deck that's also really fast paced, then it's just, you know, not the best situation, you know, sometimes to be in. And we're just trying to control the board here a little bit, delay a little bit of time. We're actually okay if the opponent chips at their security, because hopefully we could sort of find some cards we can work with, such as this mental training right here. That's always value, rather than just playing them. You know, seeing them come out from security can help us set up for our explosive combo. We're really missing just a Thomas, so if we can find a Thomas eventually, that'll be great. But at this moment, we just have to answer the board. We have to come out with Gomamon. I apologize, I did forget to strip a source with Gomamon here, but that's totally okay, because we're just going to end up bouncing everything anyways, so the source was going to be gone either way there. We digivolve into Gaogamon. Really unfortunate not finding a Thomas, because a Thomas is really crucial for us here. We trying to go into MirageGao here, and then we can gain a bit more memory back. We can also bounce their Pokemon. We need to clear and control the board a little bit if we can as well. We can gain some memory back when we go into MirageGaogamon too. Actually, we don't really gain memory back because we don't have the right inheritable. So we have to go to MirageGao, bouncing that Burning Gray. Again, the source underneath doesn't matter because it got bounced anyways. And then we can always just swing for one check. And here we're sitting here with no Thomas, which is something we really want, because if we do have it, then we can go for multiple checks. But here's a very good example sometimes where I feel like I personally just like AVAULT a little bit more. Even though MirageGaogamon is really good, you can digivolve for like fewer costs and be very memory efficient with it. You can only really unsuspend once. But whereas if we have like an AVAULT and we have a Thomas, we can go for a very explosive combo where we can potentially even finish the game here if we ever had that setup. But unfortunately, we can only just go into a burst mode here to give them as little memory as possible for them to work with and just leave it suspended. I kind of have a feeling they have enough sources in their trash, which we're keeping count anyways, that they can beef up and then go into their Emperor Grey again, which we bounced earlier anyways, and they could just delete our burst mode either way. And that's why I just went for the attack and chipped away their security as much as possible. Even though they don't have a lot of memory to work with, they can still just pass us back to 1. Our Gomamon gets to float back up, which is nice, I guess. But otherwise, like, we're in a very bad spot, honestly. Like, you know, we have to rebuild. We have no other stuff to work with. This time I remember to use the Gomamon's effect to strip away a source. I end up choosing just to strip away one of their DP buffs just because I don't think it really matters what I choose at this point. I do end up bouncing that Gaogamon too, and it's just passing back to them. They're just going to swing into security with essentially like 2-3 checks. Here we're just going to blast Zudo into Ace. We can't really do too much from that either. There's our Thomas though, but it doesn't really matter. It's too late. They Omni finished the game on us just like that. Okay, so moving on, we're going to be playing against Gamamon next as MirageGao. Again, just like all the other games, very simple. We're just trying to build our stack. Here with our hand, doesn't look the greatest. We have a rookie, but like I mentioned before, we really want to see cards that help us search, mental training, blue memory boost. You know, these are the ideal cards because it helps us search for those pieces and then we can find them, and then it gives us value too at the same time. No Thomas either. And we also want to go find Gaomon too. You know, searching cards are more important because we're trying to build a stack, set up for it, and go for big explosive plays. Unfortunately, hand just turned out to be way worse than we had right there. Our opponent's looking like they have a slow start, but that Madoki top deck really saved us here. So then we're able to cycle and draw and build our stack that way and have a level 5 ready to go just like that. Wow, just one card, just the one rookie that we needed, and we managed to pull through that. In hindsight, looking back, maybe we should have just actually played a Gaomon from our hand to search, because we eventually did see like a Thomas, and then we could have like Digivolve into one of the Gaogamons, which lets us play a Thomas for free. But again, situation doesn't too great for our opponent. So here I'm just really also trying to showcase how fast MirageGao is sometimes, because in this particular game we actually didn't really end up using any wisdom trainings, or sorry, not wisdom trainings, but mental trainings, or even like blue memory boost. You know, as long as we establish a MirageGao plus a Thomas, and then eventually we find a burst mode, it's pretty good, you know. And then again with the AVAULT really adds to the explosiveness of how fast that this deck actually is, which I want to showcase you guys. Because here we're just going to swing, although it's just one check at the moment, just for now, just because we only have 7 cards in our hand. But later on, you guys will see how strong it really is. We did end up finding a blue memory boost, so we are just going to play it because we can get as much value as possible. But again, MirageGao is just really strong with its all turns effects, which I mentioned earlier. They came out and they had used the hero to tuck something underneath. They gain a memory, draw 1. Because they drew 1, we gain a memory back as well, basically nullifying their effect there. And that's how good MirageGao is. Again, you know, countering other decks. As long as they're drawing, as long as they're searching, there's always like sort of a disruptive answer for them. But like I mentioned earlier, this is a really quick game that I want to showcase that how explosive that MirageGao can still be, you know, even without MirageGaogamon, because it can very quickly take away a ton of security and just explode in like just a couple of turns, as long as we have the Thomas and as long as eventually we try and find our burst mode. So here they're going to swing with their Regulus here, chipping away for some damage, going to Arcturus, which is kind of neat because Arcturus can actually just delete our stack, and they gain quite a bit of value because of that too, because now we're forced to rebuild all the way back, and they get to tuck more stuff in as well at the same time. So we do lose our stack here, but this is okay. Thankfully, we're able to sort of like find a lot of pieces. We're going to go up and go ahead and just go for it here. We're going to go into ROV once again because I want to do more damage. There's nothing to bounce with MirageGao anyways. We can go into MirageGao, make them add a security to hand, and now they have 8 cards in their hand, so we can just go into burst mode, whether using like going it for free. Probably that's what I probably want to do. Go in for free rather than attacking there. Obviously it makes sense to return to Thomas, 0, bounce their Arcturus, and we get to gain 2 memory back. Now we swing because they have more than 8 cards in their hand. We bottom deck 2, double check, and swing for game very quickly, just like that. Also, don't forget to get your very own copy of the Battle Vault playmat featured in today's video. We got a 2-player version and a 1-player version on there as well, so be sure to check it out. If you want to see more gameplay videos of BT14, definitely watch this video right here, right now. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you next video, and this is AVAULT signing out.